Oh, yes. Okay. So, Michael, it's 5:30. Okay, so looks like we are live. Welcome everyone to Samyamo Arts DiverseAbility Show. Before we start, I would like to acknowledge that tonight's show is happening on the traditional and ancestral territories of the Coast Salish nations, peoples of the Quatsi, Scotland, Semiahmoo, Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations, on whose land we work and live on. So tonight we are celebrating the launch of the show DiverseAbility. It is Samyama Art's first art show that is dedicated to showcasing the artwork of people with disabilities. And this ties in with the notion of building inclusive and diverse societies, and Samyama Art's aim to create and foster an inclusive environment where we promote and support artists with all kinds of abilities. And I would like to also thank Gladys Durand. She was our marketing coordinator who actually initiated the DiverseAbility show and put the connections together, as well as Michael Song, our web coordinator, who put together all the artwork on our website. And lastly, our board chair, Bill Noy, who did all the marketing towards, the launch of tonight's virtual talk. So team effort made it happen. And DiverseAbility has been realized in partnership with the Surrey-based nonprofit Unity. And with that, our first guest tonight is Unity's Associate Director, Jill Glennie. So welcome, Jill. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's fantastic to be here on the eve of our launch. I'd like to share just a little bit about who Unity is. It's a group of organizations that focus on building inclusive communities. There are 3 organizations that are a part of Unity. First, there's Peninsula Estates Housing Society, which focuses on the built home, where we are building 2 different sort of projects. One, we have Chorus, which was completed a few years ago, 71-unit apartment building with 20 different apartments for people with diverse abilities. And then our future project, Harmony, in South Surrey. Then we also have the Samyama Foundation, which I'm a part of, and it's really about the awareness and community engagement. And then finally, Samyama House Society. And that is really the heart of Unity, where we have a multitude of programs that support people with diverse abilities and being better connected to their community. That ranges from employment, rec and leisure, mental health and wellness, as well as services that go throughout the day.
Thank you, Jillian. Can you tell us, when we were talking back and forth, why did you agree to collaborate with Samyama Art Society in this art show, and how do you think the arts can foster an inclusive and diverse society for everyone, where everyone feels welcome?
Such questions there. I think that it was a really easy yes. Unity really appreciates opportunities to partner in the community, and Samyama Art Society has done such a great job of promoting people's hobbies and interests and careers through their organization. And the arts is a really important part of Unity. Being able to express who you are, understanding who you are and how you want to communicate that to the outer world is definitely something that is important to us. So being able to highlight and support people being a part of this initiative has just been fantastic. And I can tell you that I have never had so many emails when we put a call out for artists. It was just incredible. They just came flooding in. And so I'm so excited to see how it's been curated tonight.
Yes, we are also excited to share with you the wonderful artwork. And with that, we actually invited two lovely artists who are affiliated with Samyama House Society tonight to talk about the artwork. Hello, Jeevan and Asma. Thank you for joining us. Hi. So you two have submitted about 6 art pieces. And I would like to know what your connection with Samyama Arts Samyama House Society is. Can you tell me a little bit more about it?
Maybe Asma, you can answer that question first.
Well, for me, my name is Asma, and for me, I connected with Samyama House Society after I graduated high school, and I attended the SHS Day program where I made friends and learned life skills and employment skills. Now I work at Samyama House Society in reception, and I am involved in SAS and online campus programs.
Jeevan, you can answer that.
My name is Jeevan. I've been involved in Samyama House Society for over 6 years now. First, I joined their summer camps. And then after the summer camps, I went to Friday Night Flips, where I made lots of friends. Now I am an active member of South Africa's Samyama Toastmasters, and I enjoy their online campuses.
Thank you. You two are very busy. Can you tell me, why do you paint?
I paint because I love to express myself, and and because of my health, my mental health. I was when I was a teenager, it kind of like helped me to relax and cope with my health and stuff.
I also enjoy doing arts and crafts. I have arthritis in my fingers, so holding a paintbrush and squeezing paints jars helps me with my joints. I like seeing paint movement and how the colors also blend all well together.
Wonderful, thank you. So you two contributed to DiverseAbility Art Show, and I'm going to show what you have submitted via screen share, and then we can talk about your artwork. Is that okay? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. All right. So can you see this okay?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
So Jeevan, maybe we start with you. Which one of your paintings would you like to talk about?
I'm going to be doing the lavender garden and the 4 seasons on the Malaga.
Wonderful. Then let's start with lavender.
So what do you like about your painting, Jeevan?
During COVID, my family decided to do a yard renovation, and the lavender garden is lavender in my backyard.
Mm-hmm. Why do you like lavender?
I like the smell of it, and I also like how lavender is in so many different colors.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. I love the smell of lavender. It is so calming, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And your beautiful painting actually can show also the beautiful fragrance of the lavender by just looking at it. I really like how you put together with the ductus of your paintbrush, the lavender flowers on the canvas. Good job on that. And then the next one is 4 seasons. Is it 4 seasons on
Yeah.
Okay, let's watch that one. Okay. So would you like to tell us why you painted this?
4 seasons on the Malahat. I go to Vancouver Island very often because I have family out there. And 4 seasons on the Malahat, it kind of reminds me about how many times I go out there, and I get to see all the different seasons out there.
And you captured the seasons very nice. Can
Thank
I guess, is the blue one, is a blue one winter?
Yes,
Okay. And this one would be spring?
yes,
Okay, yeah, this is great. And is this one painting, 4 seasons in one painting?
yes, it is.
You did a great job, Jeevan.
Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome. Okay, then next, Asma, would you like to talk about, was it the trees in the wind?
I'll talk about, yes.
Is that okay, or would you like to talk about another piece?
No, I can talk about the trees in the wind.
Okay, let's do that. Here we go. Okay, what was your motivation for this painting?
Well, my motivation for this painting was I actually did this in an art at EJS at an art studio. It was just like I basically just felt like it was an inspiration by Emily Carr. So like it was kind of looking at her painting and then kind of like making my own version of my own way of doing it. And it was with like watercolors and yeah.
Good job, Emily Carr. She was a great artist, just like you.
Thank you.
Which of the other 2 paintings would you like to talk about?
I'll talk about the flower patch. Yes.
The flower patch? All right, let's do it. Okay, here we go. So what was your motivation to paint flower patch?
This one actually is one of my motivations for this one was Vincent van Gogh, because his paintings kind of are about with like flowers, and he draws a lot of flowers and makes a lot of flowers and stuff. And then also because he kind of is one of my favorite artists in a way, because he he has mental health as well, so so I can relate to him. Yeah,
that's really beautiful. That's a nice story behind your painting, and I really love how you managed to paint the reflection of the vase on the left side. One can really see the light reflecting on the vase. You did a great job. You are both very talented artists.
Thank you.
thank you.
I must say, and thank you very much for sharing your art pieces with us. And I have one more question to you. Who helps you discover and explore your art? Maybe Jivan, you can start.
Okay, so my sister friend Hannah, she comes over here every Sunday morning and explores different styles of painting with us. For an example, last time we did the waves, right?
Yeah,
And then there was a time where we did ball,
yeah,
and we did different types of settings. Yeah.
And what about you, Asma?
For me, it would be the same thing as Jeevan, and then also it would also be I attend an art class on Fridays, every Friday night, and it is called EJS School of Fine Arts, and my teacher is Miranda, and we learned about like different famous artists, and then we try to like base our art kind of towards the art that we're trying to paint. And then also we talk about like complementary colors and blending colors and a whole bunch of other things as well.
And I see in the background, it looks like you have lots of beautiful paintings hanging. Is that your artwork?
Yes,
Yes.
that is our artwork right behind us.
Do you have an art gallery at home? And if yes, can people come and view your artwork?
We do have an art gallery at home.
Well, through COVID.
Through COVID, we have not had people come
No.
and
But this is where you guys.
but this is where we do our painting down here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you display all your stuff that you painted. Right?
Yeah.
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 So when COVID is over, hopefully people can view your beautiful artwork and come
That
and
is one of our goals,
Yes.
is to get art out there.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know, everyone. So visit Asma and Jivan's home once COVID is over, and you can have a tour with them, and they can explain to you their inspiration and what their paintings are about. Just like they did, you guys did a wonderful job. Thank you very much,
Thank
ladies.
you so
Thank
much.
you.
And you're very talented, and I very much enjoy watching and viewing your artwork. And I look forward to seeing more in the
Thank
future.
you so
Thank you so
much.
much.
Okay, great. So our next speakers, and we have really wonderful speakers tonight. I am so excited, just like I'm excited to share the artwork and DiverseAbility show. So Nella and Helmut. Nella is the director of the EXPA School of Dance, and Helmut is actually our board of directors at Semyamo Arts, and they have known each other. And so welcome, Helmut and Nella. Just for our audience, Nella is in her studio right now. She's on mute, but we are going to unmute her so that she can speak. It could be a little bit loud, but that's okay. That's the nature of dance, right? Dance and music. Yeah, so let's unmute you, Nella.
Thank you. My apologies in advance. This is a very hardworking studio and there's a choreography class going on downstairs. So my apologies, but thank you for having me here along with my friend Helmut.
I like to start, if you don't mind, Nella,
Please.
because I let you take the stage after, because you're the great artist. Hello, everyone. It's nice to see you all at this wonderful Semyamo Arts event. I've been involved with Semyamo Arts and Uli for the last 2 years. And I think despite COVID, the Semyamo Arts has really done an incredible job producing online shows and exhibitions, even in these most difficult times we had.
Right on, Helmut, right on. We did,
Well,
right?
I mean, it was challenging in many times. And I mean, the doors were locked, the keys were thrown away, and we had to get some dogs to retrieve them, but we did manage that. And I, of course, known Nella, and I've been involved with Nella for many years. We have worked together on fabulous projects. And the one piece I submitted is I let Nella talk about it because she knows the details, but it was also very challenging. I was at the Surrey Arts Center, and there was fabulous lighting. But as a photographer, you know, when the light is low and the music is loud, I managed, and we had worked on great results on that. And we also did with the same groups an event at the Surrey City Hall. And I mean, my high regards for Nella to actually involve the entire community of South Surrey and White Rock in the dance school. So with all that, I think maybe we can show that piece later if we have it on hand.
We do, yes, we do.
Unless I let Nella talk, because she knows all about what this dance. And all the best for the year, Nella.
Thank you, Helmut. Thank you so much to Semyamo Arts for doing this. This is such an important part of life and who we are as a community. Expa Dance, and also thank you to board member Lynn Verrelay for coming up with this concept, this idea of bringing dance in as well within the art gallery format. Expat Dance has been on the peninsula for more than 20 years, and in all those decades, we have had classes for dancers with diverse abilities. Jivan is one of our longtime students and beautiful dancer, gorgeous dancer. So the photograph that Helmut took was from a stage performance in 2019, which we had no idea at the time would actually be our last stage performance before the pandemic. So it's in the photo are two coaches, Charlotte and Krista, who lead the class, and our incredible group of dancers representing a world of water. And the concept behind the show was a group of kids playing a video game, a virtual video game that they get sucked into. And the only way they can get out is by completing the worlds and moving on from one world to the next. So our Diverse Abilities class beautifully danced through and represented the world of water. So hopefully we can see it. And I think I've used up my time because the music's about to get really loud here. So I will mute myself again momentarily.
And Nella, before you go, and before we look at Helmut's photography, you were quoted saying the art of dance is the art of expression, compassion, acceptance, release, and will now serve us all in so many important ways. And to me, dance is the perfect embodiment of motion. And when somebody has disabilities, the perception of this motion can be different. How does this beautiful quote that you say, the acceptance and compassion with the dance, how does that transpire towards more acceptance in our society for people who may, use their body not in the stereotypical way?
Well, in dance, particularly in contemporary dance, which is what we specialize in, there is no steadfast formula. Dance is inherent to human nature. It's what we do. We dance as much as we speak and walk and run and eat. It is not. It has over the last couple of years become a difficult world for us to survive through, but. It's a need. It's a physical need. There is no way to do dance the wrong way. If you have the heart of a dancer, the passion, there is no wrong movement. And one of the most beautiful things about our long-running disabilities, dancers with disabilities class, is that there's no limit. There is no limit. There is expression of freedom. We don't hide behind the way things should be or how they should look. We breathe through the space. We experience the music. We respond to it. And we move to it, and every human can do that within their own means and capacities. As long as it's in their heart and in their soul, it will be expressed absolutely beautifully. And it is. It always is.
That's why they say dance like nobody's watching, right? So I found the picture. It is on our website, and I found it. So I'm gonna show it and do the screen share. 1 second. And then maybe Helmut, you can talk about how this image came to being and how what you did with the photo. It looks very, very funky. It's very dynamic.
Okay, you have to see it enlarged, but I mean, you all have artists, so I think you have a good imagination. But basically, the dance was themed on the movie Avatar. And so I photographed it to the life as it was performed. And then in post-processing, I added a little bit of funk, like Uli calls it, to make it a little bit look like it's another century and maybe another decade, who knows, but it gives it the whole image a bit of a beef.
It's just amazing. It looks like everything is in a flow, and I think I know where Jivan is. She's in the middle. Is that you, Jivan, in the middle?
I think also there was the leading lady, Charlotte. She was a longtime dancer with Nella at Expert School of Dance. And everything worked out when you look at the composition of it. The dancers and the lead, it just was one of those photographs. You say, yes, I got it in the box. And it worked out well.
And it's not for sale. We can't buy it.
It actually, it is for sale if somebody absolutely wants to buy it. But I was gonna donate that image to the Expert School of Dance after the exhibit. It's a 16 by 20, right? Yes, and I will donate this. But I mean, it's a photograph. So if anybody wants to buy it, they can contact Semiamo Arts. And I will, for a reasonable fee, whatever the cost is, they can purchase it.
All right, deal. So everyone, if you're interested in purchasing this interesting photography, email us at info@samiamoarts.com and we will put you in touch with Howard.
And that money can go to Semiamo to help in these tough times.
Sorry, Helmut, can you repeat that?
And the proceeds can go to Semiamo Arts too.
Oh, you're so generous. Thank you so much. Thank you.
If you have it, you gotta share it, right?
That's very kind of you. And Nella, also thank you for allowing us to show your dancers in the photography tonight. And dance is such a beautiful and important part, I think, for our soul, for our mental well-being. To dance, it's good for us, I think. Yeah, and it burns calories, so you can't do anything wrong when you dance, right? Okay, and then I would like to make a segue and introduce our next panel speaker, Gordy Hogue, who is a beloved community connector, a former MP of White Rock, South Surrey. And he agreed generously to speak tonight. I had to phone him and convince him, but I'm very glad that he is here. So welcome, Gordy. Thank you for joining us. Would you like to talk about your involvement with Disability Without Poverty tonight? Can you unmute yourself? Unmute. Unmute yourself, please. Okay. I can't unmute yourself. Can you do that? Can you?
Now I can.
Oh, okay, good. All right.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
That's all right. Well, welcome, Gordy.
Thank you very much. And thank you to Samiamo Arts and to all the wonderful presentations. And the art is incredible. And the dance and movement is just makes us human and engaging. And a quick story. I went to bed last night just after midnight, and I rolled over and turned on the radio. And I heard a fellow speaking who was so inspirational and so engaging. And at the end of it, he said that he is so blessed to have a disability. And he was just named the Australian of the Year. And I was just so dazzled by everything that he said and engaged. His name was Dylan Alcott. And he was the first in the 62 years they've named the Australian of the Year. It's the first time someone with a disability has won it. And I think that's a great statement about Australia and about all of us. The organization that I'm volunteering with is called Disability Without Poverty. About 1.4 million people in Canada have disabilities. And most that have disabilities and are living in poverty. 1.4 million Canadians, disability and living in poverty. And 89% of Canadians think that we should get over that. We've got to find a way to make sure that we lift people out of that poverty so they can enjoy and participate more meaningfully in society, rather than having to worry about going to food banks and where they're going to sleep and the challenges that come with that. Canada has a pretty proud history in terms of their legislation. Canada has our Charter of Rights and Freedoms sets out that equal rights have to be for all disabled Canadians, and also the right to programs, and that particularly programs that ameliorate discrimination. And Canada signed on to the United Nations Convention for Rights with People with Disabilities. And basically, the convention says that, or it states that parties recognize the rights of persons with disabilities to an adequate standard of living, and shall take appropriate steps to safeguard and promote realization of this right without discrimination on the basis of disability. So we've got these value statements that we as Canadians have bought into, yet there's a disparity between those value statements and our actual operations and what we're doing. So the polling shows that 89% of Canadians say that we should be ameliorating that we should be making that possible, that we should be blending that. And I think that's such an important statement about Canadians and Canadians wanting to ensure that all of us have equal access to all of the things that our society provides. And we're not there yet. We're certainly better off than a lot of places, but we're not to the value statements that we are reflecting with the United Nations and with Canada's charter. So I've been working with this organization as called Disabilities Without Poverty, and we've developed a model. We've got a work plan that we're working with government, and we're not challenging government. We're saying, you bought into this charter, you bought into the United Nations, and we're here to assist you. We're here to assist you to ameliorate the difference that exists there. And there's just a wonderful group. The CEO is a woman who lives in Etobicoke in Ontario. She's blind and brilliant. And the chair of the board lives in the interior, and she's in a wheelchair, and also a brilliant woman. So it's been really an honor for me to be able to work with them and help them look through the issues we're working on, and certainly being able to participate in this and listen to each of you and what you contribute to our society, and making sure that our culture is an important, integral part of who we are as a society, accepting, engaging, multicultural, multi-purpose, and clearly wanting to assist and support everyone in our society. Each one of us has needs at different points in times, and we have to be compassionate in terms of our society. So thank you so much.
That's why the work of unity and the organization you volunteer with, Gordy, is so important, right? When you say that 1.4 million people with disabilities live in poverty, the right for housing, the right for education, the right for healthcare, these are fundamental human rights, like universal human rights, and everyone, like you said, Gordy, should have access to these rights in order to build an inclusive and diverse society. And I just want to mention at this point, it reminds me, today also happens to mark the United Nations International Holocaust Remembrance Day. And it is estimated that during the reign of the Nazi regime, almost one quarter of a million of people with disabilities perished under this regime, which is such a tragedy. We have come a long way since then. However, there is a lot of listening, to what Gordy just said. There is still a lot of work to do to become more inclusive, I think. And Gordy, 3 years ago, when you and I met the first time, you handed me the script of your TED talk, and I kept it all these years. And there is a quote that I really like from your script. It says, "We are more receptive to information when the message has a social meaning that is consistent with our group values, when we focus on our sameness." How does our sameness help to build a more inclusive society?
I think it's each of us recognize that we all share something. Everybody that we meet in our lives can teach us something. Now, somebody Everybody we meet knows something that we don't know, cares about something that we may not care about, can teach us about something. And that sameness, when we have that compassion and caring and understanding, that we can connect. Sometimes we connect just in terms of through dance or through song, but often we connect with a recognition of the sameness. And until we recognize that connectedness, then I don't think we can be the compassionate, caring society, which I think most of us want to be a part of. And I think that's the way that the sameness connects us, is that the understanding and the compassion and caring that comes with being a human.
I have a comment, Gordy. I was a volunteer for the 2010 Winter Olympics in Vancouver. And actually, it's a sign what the world actually does for sports for disabled people. I mean, when you look back 20 years and then look now, it is great progress. I think that, it's giving athletes the ability to show to the world it can be done.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh, thank you. Yes. And the reference I made to the talk I heard last night on the radio, and he's a Paralympian as well and has won a gold medal. And again, he said, if I didn't have a recognition of this disability, if I didn't have that, he said, I would never have achieved these. I've been so blessed to have a disability. And I thought that was a wonderful bit of phraseology. We all have different disabilities. All of us have a disability of some sort. I happen to be colorblind, and I used to try to color within the lines and sometimes stayed in the lines, but I always got the grass brown and the cows green, and always got a bad mark. And but I've got lots of other disabilities too, but on each of us do, and a recognition of those and recognition that we can learn from each other, I think, is so important.
Thank you, Gordy. Thank you. And that brings us to our last artist at tonight's panel talk, our own Amy. Amy is our senior pottery technician at Samyama Arts. She does a terrific job managing the pottery studio and making sure it is running like an oil machine. Thank you for joining us, Amy, tonight. And Gordy was just so kind to share his disability. And you and I were talking about DiverseAbility and the launch of DiverseAbility, you shared your personal experience with your disability. Would you like to elaborate on that tonight with us?
Sure. Yeah. Hi, I'm Amy. So throughout my lifetime, I've had a plethora of mental health issues, and they've been derailing my life goals in many ways. And eventually I realized that I had to kind of innovate a way for me to work with my disability to find the right path for me. So with my art practice, I found focusing on work that is related to how our, mental health and our physical health are so connected, like they're codependent. You can't have one without the other. And just kind of focusing on that and really taking a deep dive into trying to understand how our body and our mind works has been life-changing for me. It's given me the, self-compassion even, to permit myself to enjoy different things and forgive, my shortcomings and stuff that I thought were shortcomings. But through developing my artwork, I've actually found a pathway into my career, right? So at an early age, I already had these anxiety and depression issues that kind of stemmed from my life situation, my circumstances with my family, and constantly being evicted and not really knowing a stable life, right? So pairing that with the predisposition of my parents, who also struggled with heavy depression, I was able to find a way to kind of take care of myself and kind of work through my issues with art. So finding innovation through those things You know, a very important thing that I learned early on is it doesn't matter what you have around you or the physical capabilities of yourself. If you have the imagination and the innovation, you'll find a way to kind of get creative and do something that you love that can focus your mind on something that isn't a shortcoming, something that makes those things that you maybe despise about yourself into the best things that happen to you. Kind of like what Gordy was saying, right? So now I have this career that I've worked very hard on and found different ways to kind of incorporate these issues. So my most recent work, I don't know if you have the images of these ones, but here's my most recent piece here. It's kind of like a torso with plant in it. So Uli has a few different pieces that I had already finished prior to this beautiful talk that you guys are putting together. But they're all kind of related to the same concepts. They all relate to how our mental and our physical bodies are so connected. And if you find a way to flourish one, the other one will kind of follow. And if you start to neglect like your physical health or your mental health, it will start to kind of manifest in other ways in your mental health, like pretty much vice versa, right? So this asphyxia, this one I did quite a while ago, and it was all about finding my pathway to accepting my heritage. So I am you know, I pass for white, but I actually am very mixed. I have African and Native blood in me. And, you know, it's been a very long journey to find a way to kind of accept that, because people don't, you know, they say really terrible things, but they don't really know that you have this kind of connection to this other culture, right? So, you know, you face these different adversities, and, you know, no one really believes you that you're, you know, mixed or, you know, anyways, so I kind of felt like asphyxia was this way. If you go down a little bit, Uli, the one side shows the trail of tears, actually. So I just never really understood where the native blood came from, because my mother is half African. And so that was easy, like, you know, okay, my mom's half Black, and I can accept that. But where does this native blood come from? I've been told this, but I've never been able to pinpoint it in my history. So, you know, I felt a little bit like I couldn't really tell people about that part of me. So it turns out the Trail of Tears was walked by both Black and Native people, because the escaped slaves would actually go and find refuge within those Native communities. So it kind of like that linked my heritage together and made me, you know, this was an exploration project pretty much on that part. But it also is the lungs, because I felt like I couldn't breathe between, you know, the self-doubt of where I come from. How do I explain this to people without them thinking I'm trying to get something out of it? You know, I've had many kind of like awkward conversations during my, you know, university classes, because, anyways, it's not extremely related, but yeah, so pretty much I was dealing with a lot of anxiety and depression during this time that I made this. And this was at a residency, so I was really able to like pinpoint what was important to me. And then from this, it jumped off into my other work. Okay, so I have some more. Did you have any more questions? I have some more information, but I would love to hear if you have any specific things you'd like me to talk about.
Well, you already touched on your journey, to through your art, how it helps your mental health. And I have to say, I really applaud you, Amy, for being so bold tonight to share your struggles with us, because mental health is still a taboo in our society. Nobody really wants to talk about it or admit it. And I just, before we had the launch here, I just pulled up the statistics, and according to Statistics Canada, 56% of Canadians nationwide stated that they are experiencing increased stress or anxiety level as a result of COVID. And somehow I know everyone, saying that they are stressed or they have depression or they have anxiety. It shouldn't be like that. We shouldn't, find ourselves in a state where our brain is sick. Just like our bodies, like you said, it's all interconnected. And I think it's very bold of you to share this experience with you, but it's also encouraging when you say that, your pottery work and your art helps you. And I think this is maybe something all of us tonight here can understand and share. Is there something else, Amy, that in terms of your artwork that you want to show us? Do you have more pieces tonight?
I just have this one with me here. So I don't know if you can see it. The light's kind of really terrible. But it is actually a torso, and I've marbled the clay, and it's kind of progressing from lighter clay to marbled clay, and then it expands into a flower, right? Like plants. So this one's called Breaching Mediums, and it's a part of a new series. It's an extension of the old series, but it's branching off into a new segment of the same series. So pretty much it's made out of like clay and soils and plants, and the relationship is like this delicate balance of needs that speaks to all life forms, right? The plant is contained by the ceramic vessel, which is also organic, yet it allows the vessel to grow beyond its potential. So these things are just pretty much metaphors between the human mind and body, and then this is like the manifestation of those things, right? So the plant brings in life and abundance and possibility, but it wouldn't be possible without the physicality of the vessel, right? So the vessel helps the work be mobile, so you can move it around into different places in your life, and then it gives the plant places to grow. So, with this balance of control and freedom, like this symbolic similarity between the human mind and body is kind of interesting how it's like our body, our physical body, maybe containing our life and our personal agency. This binds us and has restrictions, right, from our physicality. But like when you have a mind that has the ability to flourish and innovate and expand with knowledge and personal growth, it helps us to relate with others, empathize with others, and it kind of shows that it doesn't matter what your physical restrictions are. It really is just kind of emphasizing that point that anything's really possible. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, the reason we put this show together at Samyama Arts was that we wanted to show that artists with disabilities have the power to reevaluate traditionally held standards of artistic merit through the various art forms that Jivan and Asma and Amy and then also Nella's dance studio through the photography of Helmut have showed us very bluntly and very vividly. And listening to all of your comments and the conversation, it seems like we can build a more just and more inclusive society through compassion, caring, and the understanding of our samenesses. Like when I hear what all of you just, shared with us, and the arts, I think, can contribute a very significant piece towards that, because arts is a universal language. And it's through our creativity that we find our voice. That is what we were hoping to achieve. And so I would like to invite everyone to go into Semyam Arts homepage and view the beautiful contributions like Jivan and Asma's and Amy's. And maybe you find one or two pieces that you like to purchase, supporting the artist that way. And then you can maybe also talk about their artwork after listening to the conversations tonight. So if we are all good, is there anything else anyone wants to mention tonight?
Could I say something?
Asma? Yeah, sure.
I also want to just include that through, facing any type of adversity, I find that people develop the strongest problem-solving skills. And I think that that's really something to relate to and to always acknowledge when you're in contact with someone who's like differently abled than you. And, I want to thank everyone. I love being in the presence of everyone here, and to learn from your guys' experience. I really appreciate that. So thank you so much for having me.
I like that you said differently abled. That is a very nice way. Very, very nice term. We are not disabled, we are differently abled, Amy. I like that. Thank you. Great. Okay. Jivan and Asma, is there anything else you would like to mention tonight? Or are you okay?
There, are you guys unmuted?
I would just like to say thank you for this amazing opportunity for us to show off our artwork.
Yes, thank you very much. We really appreciate this.
Yeah.
We thank you for your lovely contributions, and you're so talented. And when COVID is over, I definitely want to visit you and view more of your artwork. And you give me a tour, okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you, guys. Thank you. And Jill, thank you to Unity for everything that you have done. I know I stressed you guys out with my emails, bombarding you and asking you to give us the submissions. Sorry about that, but you did a great job, you and Teresa and Elizabeth. I really appreciate your hard work to support us and help us to put this together. Thank you for that.
Louis, it was such a pleasure. Like I said, it was just awe-inspiring to see how many artists were coming out, and so we look forward to being able to support all of the artists at Unity in the community in reaching their potential.
Thank you. So in total, 17 artists have submitted 27 artworks, very diverse: pottery, painting, photography. Helmut's photography shows the art of dance. Maybe Nala will do a live performance with her dancers. If we have the capacity, maybe one day in Turnbull Gallery, that would be actually wonderful. I will dance with you. I love dancing. Any kind of dance would be great. And yes, Gordy, also thank you very much for sharing your deep insight about human rights and disability, and sharing the statistics and the need to still work. There's a lot of work ahead, but I am optimistic that we are getting there. I think coming from Europe as a child of Iranian refugees who moved to Germany and then to Canada, I have to say Canada is one of the most democratic places I have lived and worked in. It is not perfect, but the ability to have dialogue, to create honest discourse is something unique unique with Canadians and in Canadian society. And it creates a very diverse and inclusive society where really people from all backgrounds feel welcome and feel home. So I appreciate being here in Canada and amongst you. All right, then. Yeah, we're actually almost at 1 hour. Perfect. There is, I think, no questions in the Q&A, surprisingly. I think we covered everything, guys. So that's why nobody had questions. Yeah, I will then say a good night to all of you. Thank you again for joining us. It was lovely to meet you all. And have a good night. And we will keep in touch, okay?
Thank you.
Thanks so much.